Welcome back to Save the Pumpkins podcast. This is Amy.
And this is Shane.
So, I think you're excited to talk about this one.
What's
on the docket?
So today we're going to be talking about 2023's Mystic Christmas, starring Jessy, Schram, Chandler Massey as Sawyer, and Eric Freeman as Peter. I bring those two up for a reason, because Eric Freeman was in previously in a film called Next Stop Christmas. Had Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown in it. Do you remember?
I don't. I don't. But wait, before you go any further, I do want to also give Delaney Quinn, who plays Louisa Adams, and Patty Murrin, who plays Candace Adams, a nod too, because
Agreed completely. The little girl is Louisa, right? Right.
Is Louisa.
She plays Louisa is the girl's name, I think, in the thing. Yeah, she was fine. I'm not about to trash a child actress. She was fine. But the lady that plays the friend was Patty, right? I've got it written down, but you brought it up and kind of spoiled and kind of.
Patty Murrin played Candace.
Candace, she's fantastic. She's really good. They've got her in here as a sidekick character, but like a best friend character that shouldn't say much. But I get the suspicion she could do a primetime like a thing by herself. Mm-hmm. I like her a lot.
She's got really that chutzpah. Is that the word?
I think it's chutzpah. But chutzpah, Nick, Nolan, Nate. We've gone the gamut this today.
But if you are watching it, you know what I'm talking about.
But I think you need to get things right sometimes. Like I've gone and listened to some of our podcasts, and I screwed a name up, or was just wrong about something, and it like haunts me. It makes me not sleep well. It's just bad.
Okay,
anyway.
That doesn't happen for me, but
yeah, because you do you. Wasn't that what you said in the last one? You said I just do me. I just do whatever. Nate, Nick, Nolan, whatever. All right. But they were in that movie Next Stop Christmas with Christopher Lloyd, which we did watch. I don't think we reviewed it, but we did watch it. And I just mentioned Christopher Lloyd because he was in Back to the Future. He's Doc Brown. He's somebody people would know. But they have they were in it together. Kyle Massey and Kyle Massey. Oh my gosh. Chandler Massey and Eric Freeman.
It's easy, isn't it?
Oh no, but I corrected myself, so you don't pick on me. Eric Freeman and Chandler Massey were in that movie together. So I always like to piece together the people that have worked on things before. Just because just a fun fact here, and you're gonna go, that's not a fun fact, that's really dumb. Why'd you bring that up? That's okay though. Chandler Massey is a soap opera actor. He has been in Days of Our Lives, I believe.
Oh, interesting.
He acted in Next Stop Christmas with Erica Slezak. Who's Erica Slezak? Does that name ring a bell? I actually know who. When I saw her face, I was like, well, I know who that is, because I go, this is probably a little bit more insight than anybody ever wanted as to why I like Hallmark movies, because my sister watched soap operas when she was growing up, so I was acquainted with was it ABC that did? It was Ryan's Hope, All My Children, One Life to Live, and General Hospital. And in that order that they came on, nonetheless. Anyway, Eric Slezak plays Victoria Lord on One Life to Live.
I just looked her up. Yes, I know who she is.
Yeah, you know that face. That's that. And I know that sounded like that face, like I was being hateful, but you know her face. That is a One Life to Live actress that is fairly popular in soap opera world. Anyway, what do you think? You think they worked on a movie together and they talked about soaps? I don't know. That stuff's kind of interesting. The more stuff I would ask people that no one would care about. It's directed by Marlo Hunter, who has directed only, this is a rarity. It's super rare, but it is rare. She has only directed 3 other films. Most of these people that direct these films have done 20, 30, 40. That's their whole career. It's a gig, right? They just, it's a job. But she has only done 3 other films. Judging by what we're about to talk about, I hope she does more. I hope she gets involved and does more.
I think you like this movie a little bit more than I did, but
no, I don't think so. I just think that I wasn't expecting it to be great. And so when it wound up being really good, which is what I would call it, really good. Would you call it not really good?
I would not call it really good.
Wow. So I think when it wound up being really good and sweet and cute it's a blueprint movie. It's still another one of they don't step out and do something interesting like in Field Day. I'm just gonna bring Field Day up in every show we do about how much I love Field Day, and so I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it until Rachel Boston comes on our show. I'm gonna keep talking about Field Day, right? So this is. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it, or you want me to start?
I do actually.
Okay, go for it.
So I do think that Juniper. I thought that was a pretty
Juniper Jones.
I thought that was a pretty interesting name to keep saying throughout, for the characters to be saying that throughout the whole movie.
I thought it was neat.
It was a little much of a like a handful there,
Okay.
but I think her character was very cute. But she plays a marine biologist who is a traveler. So clearly she doesn't like to stay in one place, though she admits that she's sort of an introvert. But she gets a phone call from her best friend, Candace, who has an aquarium, who manages an aquarium, and says that she is in need of somebody to come to check out a seal that is not doing well.
That's going to be put back. That's going to be returned back into the wild, but is currently not doing well. That's right.
And so she is asked to come and help out, and she replies with a yes, under the under the condition, though, that she's going to be going to South Africa right after the holidays. And then she says, "Is your brother going to be there?" She agrees to go and, help to oversee the seal getting released back into the ocean. And in asking if her brother was going to be there, and she says it kind of giddy because she apparently had a weekend, an interesting weekend with a brother at Candace, her best friend's wedding. So like they became close. And so, she said, yes, he's going to be here. And so she still agrees to go. And,
what's the seal's name? You just don't like animals, but what's the seal's name?
Seal's name?
Oh.
I don't. What is it?
Is it Maple the dog?
No.
Oh, okay. Wrong.
What
movie.
is it?
Peppermint.
Peppermint.
Yeah.
That's right.
Cute name
So
for a
she
seal.
decides to, go there. And we learn that Sawyer owns his own pizza store, or shop, or
He does, yeah.
parlor, or whatever.
Yeah, it's a
And-
restaurant, but I don't think they just do pizza because he made a calzone at one point. Yeah, go ahead.
And he's sweet, and he brings her. She gets kind of settled into the little cottage-looking pool house, I guess you could say, that Candace has that she's going to stay in. And he brings her a nice little pizza.
A goofy pizza with like weird stuff on it.
Just to kind of...
Well, it's Christmas colored things, so it's like there's spinach and then there's green and red and all kinds of Christmassy colored things. They make a point of saying that. Yeah, you're right.
But there's a little bit of a grievance in that, Juniper is a little bit still mad at Sawyer because apparently when they were together that 10 years earlier at Candace's wedding, there was a miscommunication as to her leaving and then him never replying to her. And he says that he did reply to her in an email, and she said, I never got that email. So it was kind of like she was ghosted. And so things were left that way.
Right.
And here we are 10 years later, and she's standing behind that I never heard from you, and he's saying I did. And so, but they don't really focus on that very much. Like they tend to kind of come back to a cute little
They don't. There's not a lot of anger involved in
Right.
this relationship. It's much a part of that. In my opinion, a part of that has a lot to do with Chandler Massey. The dude is the male Ashley Williams. He really is. He's perky and quirky. Chandler Massey is just that. Their dialogue is very good. They play off of each other very good because he's like constantly smiling, constantly happy about, you gave me a new thing to do, yay! Kind of like Ashley Williams would be like, I get to go to the courthouse and take care of this thing all day long, yay! You know what I mean? Like just perky and quirky. I like Chandler Massey a lot. I think he's good.
I wasn't a fan.
Oh wow. Okay.
But in taking this job at the aquarium, she's also being put into a teaching role with some interns.
Ooh, she is, and their relationship is adorable. I
Yes,
think
it's really cute.
Her relationship with her interns, because and why is it a problem for her though?
Well, because she said she's an introvert,
Mhm.
and it's hard to. She doesn't teach very well, and the friends has confidence in her and says pretty much you'll be fine.
Well, the three of them they let her know, and Eric Freeman, who plays Peter, the one of the interns, is like, hey, we're excited that you're here. I know you're a little bit of an introvert or whatever, but just tell us what to do and help us out. We're good. They don't play the three of them as like the Three Stooges,
Mhm.
like kind of incompetent. They don't. They're smart. They play them as genuinely excited that she's there and that they can learn from her.
Well, and I think it's funny because she says that she's not really one to teach in like on the spot, like them coming up to her and saying, "Hey, what do I need to do?" And so she goes home, it looks like, and kind of like writes a list down of everything and comes in the next day and like reads off the list, and they try to interrupt her and she's like, "Wait, I got to get through this." And it's everything that she wants them to do.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's kind of like, in an order,
And
and
they
that's
say throughout the film, she continues to sort of semi-mentor each one of them, in that she's listening to them and the various problems they have and helping them. And she winds up helping and or just talking to all three of them. Very cute. The actors and actress that play that. Eric Freeman plays Peter, and then I think Eric is played by Ralph Adriel Johnson, and then Sasha Diamond plays Teresa. They're cute, and their interactions are adorable. They're not like, ugh, I can't. We're back with the interns. They're just screwing everything up. Nope, they're smart.
well, and I like how like they have that relationship going on. They have the relationship between Sawyer and Juniper. They have the relationship between her and her friend. With, we find that the friend now is looking for somebody more permanent to take over that role. And then also like the relationship that they introduced between Candace's daughter, Louisa, and Juniper, because they're both introverted, so they connect over a book, a series.
That's a really cute relationship.
It is a really cute relationship, and I thought that little girl was adorable.
Did you?
Uh-huh. And I mean, not to go too much further, but without saying this, I thought the beginning of this movie, not that I'm a fan of this movie as much as you are, but I thought because Jesse's Schram's character came across like so like that, I felt like the beginning of the movie kind of like was like on a fast forward mode.
Yeah?
I thought it was happening like so fast. Like I was having to focus so much on what she was saying, and then Sawyer's character was introduced, and he for a moment there was like on that same like fast forward, like talking like and I was just like whoa, like I was like made my head hurt. And then it kind of slowed down a little bit, but then the end, they kind of lost me again. But we were finding with in her relationship with Sawyer kind of reconnecting. We find that she, travels a lot with work, and, we find that her family life, probably the reason why she's like that is her mom's out doing her thing. Her dad's hiking mountains. And
worst scene in the movie.
Yeah, so she's never really had like a home to come back to, I guess you could say, for the holidays. And for him, we find he's never ventured out because his sister is raising the daughter, divorced. She's divorced. And so he's always felt like they've needed him. So he's never been able to break free to go and explore.
Oh, well, I didn't.
So you have those two opposites.
I didn't get that. I know he said I've always been here to help take care of it. They didn't feed you that one too hard or anything.
No, but it was just like,
take care
it was
of his niece.
But it was said.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but that's how much. And I watched it and I remember it obviously. But I think that's how much it mattered that it was said. But I didn't give it too much weight.
She was so passionate. Like I felt truly, she was so passionate in what she did, and that's so weird for me to have taken this. but her profession of working as the
Marine
marine
biologist. Yeah, yeah.
biologist in traveling, it made sense, right? Like she likes doing this. It takes her to
Yeah.
these different places. That makes sense. And so as the movie continued and their relationship kind of, patched back together, and she helped a little girl come out of her shell by, her writing a poem for the holiday festival or whatever, being able to go up on stage and recite that, and then kind of being a good mentor to the interns.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you take over from here as to how it goes from
No,
there, and then I'll.
no, it wasn't that. What I was gonna say, I was just gonna play off of what you said. I think they gave them interesting things to do to develop their characters and their personalities when they weren't with each other, and that just makes you it just makes you like them more. It endears those characters to you. They gave Sawyer. They gave him a really cute little side story that was like 2 minutes of dialogue, but it was really good. They gave him there's a young manager that works for him. Well, she's not a manager, she's just an employee, and her name is Brooke. And she just kept saying, I'd like some more responsibility. I'd like to be a manager. And it's one of those things that you don't, I don't know how you feel about work ethic of people like in the world today, but I think a lot of people believe that young people or people today are lazy, and then that's just not the case. So, well, I mean, it's the case with everybody. There are lazy people of all ages, right? But Brooke was a really sweet character. I like Brooke a lot. So when they got to her, I think they wanted to let you know that young people in general are a little bit more than that. And he lost his cool. Sawyer lost his cool with her, and she was just asking for more. She wanted more responsibility.
Well, do you think
And,
it was that, or
and
do you
she
think
was
it?
she's played by Malia Joy Brown, by the
Do
way.
you think it was
She's a
that,
really good job. I
or
liked her character in it a lot.
or do you think it was because that was another way of them letting you know, reconfirming that his inability to let go or feel like
Oh, absolutely.
things can run without him.
Yeah, but that's not fair. You're holding him to a standard that you didn't hold her to, or character wise, because you could say just as easily that they only had the interns there to show you that she's not ready to be, or to show her grow as a little bit more of an extrovert, and to be a little bit more willing to, when they hug her, she kind of bristles away or whatever a little bit, like. But that's exactly what happened. The interns were there to help develop. They were there to be them. This is good writing. That's why we're talking about it. We wouldn't have this kind of conversation in several movies, but in this one we will. And that's why this movie's better than I think you're giving it credit for. They were there to show you, her interns, the three of them, were there to develop their own characters as well, but they used them also very economically from a screenwriting standpoint to show you that Juniper is growing as well, and letting people in, becoming a little bit more of an extrovert, maybe giving somebody a hug when you think they did a good job. And they did the same thing with Sawyer, with Chandler Massey's character, by showing you that he doesn't have to fix everything. He can let someone else help fix it too. Brooke's character was most definitely there. I would say Brooke's character was there more for that, because she doesn't really have much more to do. It's a shame. The actress is very good. Pretty lady. And she's good. She did a good job. Her character was there a little bit more to solely develop Sawyer's character. Whereas the three interns, they had kind of their own things going on.
Right.
So,
well,
but I get it. They're both there for the same purpose, to help Sawyer and Juniper.
Well, because the seal had a crisis, a health crisis that
Yeah.
they all had to, banded together to help each other, or help her out in order to oversee and make sure that the seal got better. But I guess where I'm saying I wasn't particularly keen, or that I liked this movie, was I was so convinced in her character of what she liked to do and travel, that at the end,
Yeah, the ending, I know what you're saying.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
the ending was a little bit. Honestly, I think they had plenty of time, and I do like the thing they did at the end. I guess we could spoil it. When I say the thing, I mean usually at the end of a Hallmark movie, it's like, I guess I'll be staying here for a while. No, female voice. I guess I'll be staying in town for a while. Yeah, I guess I'll be staying here too. And then they share a kiss, and it fades out, or they get married in a bowling alley. I love you very much, Midnight Masquerade. But at the end of this one, instead of doing that, they needed to find themselves. Now, they wanted to make sure that you knew that they were going to be together, and that was the cop-out. But when Sawyer was like, no, I need to go see the world, you were right. I was shocked that they let him leave. They played it safe. They made sure you knew he was coming back to Juniper, which I'm okay with that. Like, at the end of the day, at some point, you're going to have to give up to the fact that these things are cozy love stories. And you don't...
Okay, no, because in the end, she contacts these obscure parents of hers where he's climbing...
Worst scene in the movie, yeah.
And says, I've fallen for him, but, my work pretty much takes me places. Yeah. What do I need to do? And the mom or the dad or both together. They both gave her
different advice, and both of it was
But pretty correct. Much to the extent of, you can't sacrifice yourself. Like, you shouldn't have to sacrifice yourself.
True.
And I felt that's exactly what she did.
So, the mom kind of... okay, so they let you know that the mom was going to give the "you don't need no man, honey" advice because she was where? On the stupidest looking green screen cruise ship deck you've ever seen in your life. So the mom, they wanted you to know about her location, her sun and fun, and I don't need no man. That her advice was a little bit more one part of what they together had given Juniper. They had given Juniper, it's part of her genes, the spirit of someone that doesn't need anyone to help take care of them. Juniper had already proven that in her life by making something of herself. And then her dad said, whichever decision takes you over 50%. If you go,
because he said, where are you leaning?
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm 50-50.
When you hit 51% with one of them, that's the one you go with. And she clearly hit 51% in staying. Juniper had already made, her mom's advice was correct. You don't need anyone to make you, don't sacrifice your dreams for a man or for a relationship. I think she just said a man. For a relationship. Don't do that. It was correct advice. Juniper had already followed it by not sticking around with him years ago, or anyone for that matter. She had been following her mother's advice literally every day. Her father's advice was the currently needed sage advice, which was, where's your heart? Yeah, they didn't go cheesy with the where's your heart. What are you leaning towards? In fact, he went different. He went with your mind. What are you leaning towards?
Yeah, I don't know.
I like that.
I just thought that she...
Juniper followed both parents' advices. At the end of this, you can say whatever you want to. If you didn't like it, that's fine. But Juniper, at the end of this, Juniper didn't make any concessions for... She didn't sacrifice anything.
Well, I felt she did.
Marine biologist. And that dude, like, you want to talk about... I'm telling you, you're not giving these movies credit enough for being woman power. She sacrificed nothing. She made something of herself, and he left for a little bit of time just to go see the world. But at the end of the day, the dude owns a pizza shop. Like, I'm sorry.
I think he owns that. I think that's very...
That cat got off that train or bus or whatever it was at the end of it. He knows he's lucky. She's gotten... You know how we always talk about this with our kids when we're talking about when somebody wants to get married or whatever, we say that you and I both... Before we got married, it's a little bit personal, I guess, but not really. You and I both found something for ourselves before we found each other. And that's how we feel like it was a good decision for us. You find something for yourself before you find it for someone else. The person that never found anything for himself that you should feel sorry for is Sawyer. He didn't find anything for himself. He's trying. Juniper already found her stuff. She's already been to the Galapagos or whatever it was, right? And done her marine biologist.
I mean, I just think that in the end when she was like, I'm staying, and he was like, oh, I'm going, and I'm like, what? Right?
And she looked at him and said, yeah. and she still gave him a kiss. That's why I like this movie. Because I
And
was
then
like,
what was
oh.
the cheesy thing
Oh,
that we found out in the end is that he was so gung ho on making sure that he could show her that he sent that email so long ago, and then he found out that it was actually put into the draft.
And he told her.
He told her, but it was never officially sent, so they both were right in that. He thought he composed it and sent it. She said, I never got it. He did compose it and send it, but it wound up in the draft,
No,
so she
he
never
didn't
did
send
get it.
That's what you're not understanding Gmail. That because they showed you like a little
Right.
Gmail screen. He drafted it up and never hit send.
Yes, but he knew in his mind he had drafted it up. He didn't
Are you
realize
equating
that
with
it
doing
wasn't
something
sent.
in your mind as doing it? That's not doing it. He owned up to it.
He may have
didn't do
said
it.
that he sent it. He thought he sent it.
He did that. He had best intentions. That's correct. But he didn't do it, and he owned up to it.
Right.
Oh man, I don't think we interpreted this one completely
I don't
differently.
know. I guess because I wasn't really a fan of Sawyer's.
Oh, Chandler Massey, really?
Yeah,
I
I'm not.
liked him a lot.
Wasn't a fan. And then the ending just kind of like
The ending was
soured
kind
it.
of like they go back. He gets off the boat or whatever, and then it's like a year later, and you're like, oh, I don't know, we didn't need that. Like, you can just let us know. The insistence on these Hallmark movies to show you a year later. I know you like that sometimes, but I'm like, I can dream. Like, I've got enough of imagination to see where they are. I don't need to see or be different and put it 30 years later and have them with grandchildren or something weird like that.
Right.
Do something different.
Yeah.
And they don't do that. They always let you know a year later, and then they're married and have a dog, and then everything. That's stupid.
Well,
I don't
okay,
need
so
that.
I mean, I'm not gonna, on a scale of 1 to 5, give this a low score. I'd
Okay.
say this is about a 4-1.
See, I was only going to go 4.2, 4.3 in there. I don't. It isn't. We're on the same page more than we think we are. I think maybe I should give it a higher rating then, because I thought it was. I thought it was a B- student in school, and that's not exceptional, but not a C student
Right.
either. That's somebody that's doing a good job. I don't know if anybody that listens to this podcast that doesn't have grading like that. I don't think anybody outside of this country is going to listen to it. But yeah, I liked it more. I Jessy Schram, one of those charismatic. I just looked her up while we were sitting here talking just to see. I was like, oh man, I really like her. I wonder if she's going to be in anything coming up. Doesn't really look like it.
Aw.
Nothing Christmas wise. That's a bummer. She's just fun when you find somebody, because we get it. Tyler Hines is going to be in every movie you can put him in, and Andrew Walker the same thing. I gotcha. So we need 10 or 15 of those kinds of people so that we can, rotate them, put them on the rotation. And it's a bummer to see that she's not going to do it. Probably got something else going on in her life. You know what I think she's probably got going on in her life? She's already done what she needs to do. She's a marine biologist. Everything's good.
Right. I thought it was a cute story. One that you
it.
really haven't seen before.
I would absolutely watch this again if you would be willing to. 100%. There, I did it again.
Maybe if there was nothing else on.
We're always going to have something else to watch. I usually will say that, would you watch this again? Or I'll say, I wouldn't watch this again. We always have a different movie to watch because Hallmark makes 30 or 40 of these a year. So,
well, I will say I am having fun with this so far. It is just the beginning, and we have a lot of movies to watch and talk about. But I mean, so far this journey's been.
Thank you for coming up
fun.
here and talking with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, we hope that you'll comment and let us know what your thoughts are on it, and that you'll stay on this Christmas train with us as we explore these movies and talk about it, and hope that you continue to listen, and just remember to do something that makes you happy today.